Welcome back to our channel, Exposing the Great Australian Government. In this video, definitions of Commonwealth that Dick has compiled together are some main points that we all need to comprehend in relation to our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted under the Royal Coat of Arms. These sections alone from the Annotated Constitution will show you just how far away from our primary law these criminals and traitors are. Please ask questions. We don't want to assume that everyone knows and comprehends this information. We all know what assumptions are. Let's get into it. Definitions for Commonwealth. Page 927, section 444. The States. The states are parts of the Commonwealth. This is one of the basic principles in the structure and organisation of the federated community. In order to present a true conception of the position of the states in the Commonwealth, some of the ground previously traversed must be here reviewed, and attention drawn to the fundamental conceptions and relations expressed by the words Empire, Commonwealth, States, Constitution and Government. In accordance with the agreement of the people of the Australian colonies to unite in one federal commonwealth under the Crown, the British Parliament, in which resides the supreme and absolute sovereignty of the Empire, has established the Commonwealth and ratified and legalised the Constitution previously approved by the people. The Commonwealth is the united political society thus established. It consists of the people and of the pre-existing colonies, converted into states. Attention is particularly drawn to this definition of Commonwealth, which is clear and unchallengeable, according to the express wording of the preamble and the first 6 clauses of the Imperial Act. In certain sections of the Constitution, however, the word Commonwealth is used to denote the central government established by the Constitution, and not the political society itself, which is organised under the Constitution and governed by federal and state governments alike. In the American Constitution, it has been noticed that a similar confusion of meaning exists. In the preamble and other sections, the term United States means the united political society composed of the people of the states. Occasionally, however, as in Art 4 Section 4 and the 10th Amendment, the term United States is used to signify the federal government. Luther v. Borden, 7 Howe 1, Pomeroy's Constitution Law, 10th edition, page 68, note 466 infra. These are illustrations of the manner in which a political community capable of exercising sovereign or quasi-sovereign powers may be. Imperial, of or relating to an empire. Empire, extensive group of states ruled over by a single monarch. Federal Attorney Generals, Gough Whitlam, 5th of December 1972 to the 19th of December 1972. Senator Lionel Keith Murphy, 19th of December 72 to the 10th of February 75. In 75, Lionel Keith Murphy became a High Court of Australia judge. Page 314, definition. A constitution is a general law for the government of a political community, unamendable and unrepealable, except in the matter on compliance with the conditions prescribed by the authority which created it. It deals with the sovereign power of government and the various forms, organs and agencies through which that power is brought into action, and the relations, interdependence and cooperation of those forms, organs and agencies in the performance of the work of government. A general law. First, then, a constitution is a general law or a collection of laws, capable of effective enforcement and binding on every member of the community, including the members of the government in their private capacities. Page 301. 11. By the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty. Every Act of Parliament bears on its face the stamp and evidence of its royal authority. It springs from the Queen's most excellent majesty. It is in the Crown, and not in Parliament, that legislative authority is, according to constitutional theory, directly vested. Parliament is the body assigned by law to advise the Crown in matters of legislation, and the Crown could not legally legislate without the advice and consent of Parliament. It is, however, constitutionally and theoretically true that the legislative function resides in Queen Victoria, no less than it resides in William the Conqueror. Page 366, 43. Commonwealth, as established under this Act. We have summarised the literary history of the name Commonwealth. Note 17, supra. We now come to the statutory definition of the term. This definition, it will be observed, is a vague and technical one, the dominant words being, as established under this Act. For the true nature and primary meaning of the expression, the student is required to examine the first 6 clauses of the Act, which deal with the establishment of the new community. The Commonwealth is not in any way defined or explained by the Constitution itself. That deals only with the governing organisation of the Commonwealth. 462. Any religion or any religious observance. Page 951. The Christian religion is, in most English-speaking countries, recognised as a part of the common law. There is abundant authority for saying that Christianity is a part and parcel of the law of the land. Page 952. Specifically implied. Parliament is a legislative body capable only of exercising enumerated powers. Its powers are determined and limited by actual grants to be found within the Constitution. Anything not granted to it is denied to it. 330. Its interpretation. Page 391. The Judica. Page 795. 1. Every power alleged to be vested in the national government or any organ thereof must be affirmatively shown to have been granted. There is no presumption in favour of the existence of a power. On the contrary, the burden of proof lies on those who assert its existence, to point out something in the Constitution which, either expressly or by necessary implication, confers it, just as an agent claiming to act on behalf of his principal must make out by positive evidence that his principal gave him the authority he relies on. So Congress, or those who rely on one of its statutes, are bound to show that the people have authorised the legislator to pass the statute. The search for the power will be conducted in a spirit of strict exactitude, and if there be found in the Constitution nothing which directly or impliedly conveys it, then whatever the executive or legislator of the national government, or both of them together, may have done in the persuasion of its existence must be deemed null and void, like the act of any other unauthorised agent. The Judicature, page 725, Guardians of the Constitutions. The High Court is the guardian of the Federal Constitution. That is to say, it has the duty of interpreting the Constitution in cases which come before it, and of preventing its violation. But the High Court is also the guardian of the constitutions of the several states. It is as much concerned to prevent encroachments by the federal government upon the domain of the states, as to prevent encroachments by the state governments upon the domain of the federal government. The Preamble, page 281. 1. An Act. Parts. This Act may, for the purpose of analysis and classification, be considered as consisting of the following parts: 1. Title. 2. Preamble. 3. Words of enacting authority. 4. The covering clauses 1 to 9. 5. The Constitution introduced by Clause 9 and divided into chapters, headings, parts and sections. 6. The Schedule. 7. The Marginal Notes. Page 994. In particular, no law can be passed by the amending power which is repugnant to the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act, consisting of the preamble and the covering clauses to which the Constitution itself is annexed. The amending power can amend the Constitution, but the Constitution Act is above its reach. How far the scope of the amending power may be limited by the scope and intention of the Constitution Act, as gathered from the preamble, it is impossible to say, but it is certain that if amendments were passed which were inconsistent with such words as indissoluble, federal commonwealth, or under the Crown, strong arguments would be available against their constitutionality. This last paragraph gives great force to the preamble as being part of the Act. Ben Chifley, Labor Prime Minister of Australia, 1945 to 1949, wrote, "To us, the throne in no way usurps the rights of the people. It is a symbol of the liberty of the people. With us, the prerogatives of the Crown have become the privileges of the people." Sue versus Hill, 1999. Truism that, whilst there is only one person who is the sovereign within the British Commonwealth, in matters of law and government, the Queen of the United Kingdom, for example, is entirely independent and distinct from the Queen of Canada. This also would apply to the Queen of Australia. The preamble. Whereas the people of New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Queensland and Tasmania and Western Australia, humbly relying on the blessing of Almighty God, have agreed to unite in one indissoluble federal commonwealth under the Crown of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, and under the Constitution hereby established. So, I ask you all to please consider how on earth anyone alleging to be our elected leaders can take ownership through copyright of the People's Constitution. Another brilliant quote: "Choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought. To be led by a coward is to be controlled by all that the coward fears. To be led by a fool is to be led by the opportunists who control the fool. To be led by a thief is to offer up your most precious treasures to be stolen. To be led by a liar is to ask to be told lies. To be led by a tyrant is to sell yourself and those you love into slavery." Octavia E. Butler. Well done. Our channel will show you the evidence on certain steps that were taken by the evil pedophilic purported politicians to usurp our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901, as proclaimed and gazetted, to give themselves total control over you and everything that you now think that you own. So, if someone stole something from you, wouldn't you want your property returned to the rightful owner? Should the criminals be held accountable?
The biggest mistake a person can do right now, no matter in which situation you are, is to give up. You might not reach the best version of yourself in this lifetime, but a better one than you are right now. The main point is to find something that you are not standing still where you are right now. In order for something new to come, something old must go. Nobody else at the moment has the power to change you, unless you have that initial spark and say, I must do something. I don't want this anymore.